Hello, everyone. Welcome to more Beachathon Sprints. I have Leandra here today, and you can tell us what you're reading.
I am first representing the Dolphins, but also I'm going to be kind of juggling two reads. I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is the first Emily Henry book that I've ever tried, and I am really liking it so far. But I also have to be reading the fifth season because I'm doing a buddy read with Danny over at Danny Dabbles, and our goal is at the moment like 3 chapters a day, and so I'm like 1.5 chapters away from like hitting our mark. So I'm definitely going to be prioritizing this first, and then hopefully a palate cleanser because this has been pretty sad so far. What are you reading?
I'm reading When You Get the Chance by Emma Lord.
The cover.
It's YA. It's kind of like a contemporary and a romance. Like it has a romance, but it's not really a big part yet. I'm only a few chapters in.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm not loving it as much as I had hoped, but it hopefully gets better. I am tabbing it because I got new tabs today. I got so many different
Nice.
colors because before I had like very limited selection. But now I have all the colors of the rainbow and different shades of every color.
Oh, I love that. You know who did who was it? Rainy over a Rainy Blue Reads. So she just recently did like creating an annotation station for like one of her vlogs, and I was like, that is so fun.
I don't annotate a ton of my books because I don't know, I keep forgetting to do it, or I just don't know what to tab, what I should. So I don't know, I usually just don't do it, but I'm trying to get into it so that I can go back and reference, like if I'm talking about a book, I can be like, I loved this scene and then go find the scene easier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Might not do it a whole lot, but I'm going to try and start doing it more.
Yeah, especially with like maybe what's your favorite reads, then
Yeah,
be like, no.
this one, I don't know, I always I feel like when I do tab, I always start tabbing, and then those are the books I DNF or like unhaul. I know.
Yeah.
So because this one so far isn't my favorite, but like the last book I read before I got these new tabs was so good. It's one of my favorites of the year, and I didn't have the tab, so I didn't tab it.
Yeah, or when you're enjoying yourself, you like forget to tab.
Yeah,
You're
because
like,
you read so much that you're like so invested, and then you're
and
like,
you're like,
oh yeah, I
wait,
was
like
supposed
50
to be
pages
tabbing
went
this.
by. I should have tabbed that, and then it's
And
just
then you're at the end of the book, and you're like, oh.
yeah.
Hello, Tina. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm reading Up a Storm by Eva Gates.
Ooh.
Hopefully you're liking that. I think that's a cozy mystery. You've read that author before, I know.
Yeah, awesome.
Dolphin emojis. Hello.
Hi, Jen. Woohoo! Also, Tina, we respect the crabs. Don't worry.
Yes.
Totally respect the crabs.
I am not biased because I want both teams to succeed, obviously.
Yes, so you are our host, our royal queen at the moment, queen of the sea, and you just don't have favorites.
But for everyone here, I will give a little bit of a hint, not to who's winning, but more not who has the most points, but who has submitted the most books is currently Team Crab. Has the most submissions. Not necessarily the most points, but the most book submissions.
Okay, that's honestly that's good motivation for me. I will say I'm oh my gosh, I'm so scattered. I think what will happen for me is I'll be submitting like a bunch at the end because as you saw in my vlog that I just posted today, I'm like juggling like five books at the moment, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So like once I finish them all, then that'll be really good, but it's just a mess at the moment.
Yeah, and everyone, you don't need to vlog it during the month. Like you can do it at the end. I'll probably have it like open for a few days and then announce the winner a couple days into August. So if you want to just put them all in at the very end, that works too. Really enjoying my book. The first 2 books in the series were 5 stars. That's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yes, it is a cozy mystery. That's what I thought.
It also sounds like a biblio mystery series because you're saying like reading up a storm. So I'm wondering if it's like a cozy mystery, but like that like focuses on like reading or books or set in a library. There's like Ellery Adams. I don't know if anyone's read anything by her, but she has it's like mystery. What is it called? Like it's like mystery suites or something. I'm gonna carry you guys with me. don't look in my room if it's really messy. So here's what I've got. Okay. Grabbed them because I've been meaning to read them because I got the arc for like the 9th book in the series, which obviously is ridiculous. But it's like Murder in the Mystery Suite, and then the second book is Murder in the Reading Room, and it's a book retreat mystery. So yeah, Tina, it sounds like you also have a bookish kind of mystery series.
Yeah, I love books that have to do with books, like when the main character loves to read or something. Like that's just so cool. Yes, it's set in a library.
Nailed it.
Eating a burrito. That sounds delicious. I'm hungry. I need to have dinner.
Me too. I'm gonna have dinner
Well,
during the first
you
sprint,
must
but
really need dinner because it's late there for you. Well, it's only
I,
8.
I know I
But
don't
that's
even
still
get me
late for
started.
me for dinner, at least.
Yeah, my life has been so crazy. I feel like I always have a late lunch, and that makes me have a late dinner. And then our sprints were coming up, and I was like, Leandra, you haven't eaten. So dinner's in the oven, but it's nowhere near as great as a burrito. So I'm jealous.
Main character works in a library that's in a lighthouse. That sounds cool. And she also lives in the lighthouse. Oh wow.
Honestly,
That sounds
today
really
you might have
cozy.
mentioned that. Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds familiar, but I'm still just as intrigued. I love the idea of like a lighthouse being a setting. Wouldn't that be so cool? Like as like a
Yeah.
bookstore or like a library. That'd be
There's a
awesome.
library in it. That any
Yeah.
place with a library, I'm sold.
Yeah, or like probably if you go to different layers, you can like look at out the window, and you see like the ocean, and you're just like reading.
Yeah.
Sounds so fun.
So, not many comments this time. I know because they're so like impromptu.
And it's just like a random time. We're still getting
Yeah, and
into
it's
things, you
random, and
know.
it's no one knew
Mhm.
they were coming until like a few hours ago. We
Yeah.
always eat late dinner, especially now because my mom gets out of work at 8:30. Yeah, I always eat early dinner. I always eat around 5.
Yeah.
I
I think
just get
I was
hungry.
like when I was growing up, we like it was like sports were always after school, and suddenly like it was really common to have like a late dinner for us. So
Yeah,
like maybe that's like residual. My body is used to. I also usually have like a late breakfast too, and I like to sleep in and
yeah.
all these
This is
things.
gonna be more like my lunch because I didn't get up till noon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be more like lunch that I'm gonna have, and then I have dinner at like 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Camilla. Saying hello to everyone. Team
Woohoo!
Crab.
We respect it. We respect Team
People
Crab.
saying hello.
Yes. Camilla, what are you reading too? Let us know.
Yeah, what is everyone reading?
Hmm
Um,
I know
I've
that
seen that
Camilla
a lot of
was reading a
people
lot of
have been
Agatha
posting what
Christie.
they've been reading, on the
Mm-hmm.
Discord, especially in the Crab group chat. So many people are talking and sharing their reads, which is so nice.
Very nice.
And
That's
you
always
and Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers have been posting on Instagram,
fun.
which is nice to see.
Yes, I like
But
Nicole like tags me every time she uses the dolphin template, and I'm like,
yeah,
yay!
yeah, and then I get it too because she tags me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then so do you, and then I see them, and I'm like, yay, more people can get introduced to the readathon.
Mm-hmm.
People saying hello.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I will try and join you in Brooklyn on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, we should tell people. For those who are here, so Brooklyn and I have scheduled Beachathon Sprints. Obviously we're going to be like, go Dolphins, because we're the two captains of Dolphins, but if anyone can join, and we'll support anybody in their like reading. And if anyone's watching who isn't doing Beachathon, obviously you are welcome to. It's going to be next Tuesday, US Eastern Time, Wednesday if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, so like July 11th. And for Eastern time, I think I set it at like 8:30 p.m. if I remember correctly. But you can go check it out on my channel and hit notify me, because it'll be like a kind of nice like evening sprints for the West Coast, night sprints for EST, and then like kind of morning sprints for anyone who's in Australia, because obviously Brooklyn is in Australia.
Yeah, so definitely go subscribe to Leandra if you haven't already. We respect Team Dolphin. Making this decision was very difficult.
I know, it's like we're all friends. It's like honestly, it doesn't matter.
I know, I'm like, because everyone that I thought would participate in the readathon, I'm like, we all follow the same people. Like,
Yeah.
it's how do you choose? Because like I'm also gonna be joining the amazing readathon, participating in that.
Mhm.
Bree from 4,000 Books readathon for August, and I'm like, there's so many teams. There's 5 teams. How do I choose? And like every team had at least 1 or 2 people that I subscribe to. Like,
Mhm.
gotta pick one. So
I
I picked
know.
team the red team. So
I haven't I still have to actually watch that announcement video and then, like, kinda decide if I have the time and the energy to join, 'cause I feel like it would be really fun, but those, like, huge readathons, like, where there's multiple teams, like, stress me out
yeah,
even more because, like you said, there's different choices, and then it's like from what I understand, is it's a pretty simplistic where for that readathon, you choose a color, and then your goal is to read as many books that, like, have that color on the cover. Is that what it is?
that gives you more points, but there's gonna be prompts that you have to complete at
Okay.
each thing. And then if you're in first, you get like a bonus. And if you're in last, you have to complete an extra reading challenge. And it's like, I think you have to keep track of your money. And I'm confused a little bit, but I'm sure I'll
Okay.
figure it out as I go. But yeah, it's definitely more of a complex readathon compared to Beachathon, which is very simple
Yeah.
because I could not put together something that complicated.
No, oh my gosh.
The decision was down to my preference on the animal. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Also, like, I gotta respect the crab. It's not just the sea, it can go off on land, whereas us
Yeah.
dolphins don't have as much flexibility.
I was worried everyone was gonna pick Team Dolphin because obviously I love dolphins more, and my
Mhm.
mom's like, obviously they're gonna pick Team Dolphin, but then a lot of people chose Team Crab, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, it evened
It's
out
pretty
really
much
well.
equal. It's almost equal. So even 25 pages away from finishing the book. That's incredible. I'm kind of drained, so I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. That's good.
Oh my gosh,
Almost
honestly,
finished a
that's such
book,
a smart
another one for
idea.
Team Dolphin.
Mhm. Totally.
Yeah, it's a good thing I haven't been on either team. I've only read 1 book so far. I know it's only the third, but I'm reading slow these days. Should we do the first
Honestly,
sprint?
midsummer, that happens. But yeah, I'm ready
Yeah.
for a sprint.
I'm thinking of doing shorter sprints today, so like 30 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, that totally works for me.
Okay, so I will see everyone in 30 minutes. So how'd you do?
I did good. I had dinner, which was lovely. And then I ended up finishing chapter 7 of the 5th season. And oh my gosh, I didn't have time. So Danny and I, who were reading it together, we are like sending each other voice messages back and forth. And when I finished it, I like took the time to listen to her messages and I was going to respond, but I saw we only had a minute left and I was like, I'll respond in the next sprint. So very exciting. Lots happening.
I read one chapter and then watched a bunch of YouTube, and now I'm just in the middle of eating dinner as the sprint ended. So,
Yahoo!
I saw we
Nice.
had a lot of people join us, so I'll just go through the comments. Hello, Nina. Saying hello to Nina. And I already answered this, but yes, there is. I put it on my community tab. That's mine. That would be great. Yes, I did that. Hello, Nicole. Just got here a little late, but I'm here. Go Team Dolphins.
Team
Yay,
Dolphins.
Team Dolphins.
Also, Nicole is hosting her normal sprints, like our Thursday, her Friday, and then our Sunday, her Monday. But what's very exciting is that on the Sunday for the Northern Hemisphere, I'm going to be joining her. So I'm so excited. And it's going to be kind of an unintentional, impromptu kind of Team Dolphins. But also, if anyone in general wants to like join in the comments, I'm really excited. It's the first time I'm going to be on Nicole's channel.
Yeah, that's exciting. Hello, Brittany. Let's go Team Crab with crab emojis.
We respect it. We respect it.
So glad you're on Team Dolphin, Mood Reader. Saying hello to everyone. Finished my first book during your sprints last night, Nicole. That's amazing.
Yahoo!
Saying hello. You finished the book. Yay. Hopefully you liked it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yay for finishing books. Yes, we love to finish books. I just watched a TikTok and then had some watermelon. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. That's like such a summer food.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
Read 12%. That's amazing. Just getting ready for the end of the day, but figured I'd pop in for one chat. Well, thank you for stopping by. And
yes.
Hopefully you have a good night.
Yeah, and hopefully you've got some time to read and relax before bed too.
Yeah. I'm listening to Ice Planet Barbarians Book 1, starting what's on the month of July.
Very nice.
I only read the first 2 Ice Planet Barbarians books, but I love them both.
Yeah, well, you know what's so funny is a friend of mine who like at work, she was like, I just noticed a friend of mine, one of our friends had told me that she started Ice Planet Barbarians 1, and I was like, she didn't tell me that. She knows that I was reading it. So the last time I checked in with her, she's already on book 3, and she's like, I didn't think I would like this as much as I do. Like, this is just getting better. Because I think book 3 is with Ihako, I think, right? And Kira. And obviously Ihako is great. So definitely need to keep going, basically, Sarah, because book 3 is
I want
really
to, but
good.
I'm trying to read them physically, and my physical TBR is just so long. And there's
Totally
so many books I want to read. I'll never read them all. But I really like them. I've given both of them 4.5 stars. They're really good. They're not 5 stars. They're just such a fun time, but they're not quite 5 stars for me so far.
I'm trying to remember. I gave the first book, Nicole, just so you know, I gave that 3 stars, but I kept going with the series because I was doing the thing with Brittany where we're reading all of them in order. And then both Brittany and I gave book 2 5 stars. So we did think that was a 5-star one. I think it's just because we had so much fun comparing it to Beauty and the Beast. And then book 3, I gave 4 stars. So I kind of been giving a range. I was telling my one friend that I've given some books 2 stars and I've given like up to 5. So it is kind of a series where it's up and down, and it's very much dependent on the couple's dynamic, who are the main people. So that's also just so people know that if you start, with book 1 and you're not super into it, just keep going because you might find the couples that gravitate more towards you. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of you guys. You were like how the second book's so much better. I like the first book a little bit more. I don't
Honestly,
know,
that's good. That shows a spectrum.
Maybe because I have more of like not like the sci-fi and like the world and the language part. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I still like the
it's
second
different. Mm-hmm.
Except I didn't like how he started to just undress her without her permission and bathe her in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's so funny when you think about it because, like, I always forget out of context too when we're talking about this. I'm like, oh, that's right. This is Ice Planet Barbarian World. Like, this is we just have to accept certain tropes are happening. I think it's hard because you haven't gotten further, but I think like there are some couples that I think are just a bit weirder that I was far more uncomfortable with. So I was fine with who was that? Like Liz and I think
Liz
Rahash.
and
Is that his name?
yeah, Rahash.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I think I've been listening to the audiobooks. So basically the audiobooks is telling me how to pronounce things. But yeah, so I preferred the second book to the first one, but because you like the first one more than the second, it kind of reminds me of I always bring up this series. It's that duology by Tessa Bailey that it happened one summer. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So, like some people prefer book one or over two, but then others prefer book two over one. And it's just, I don't know. Have you read either of those?
I only read the second one because it sounded the most interesting. I do want to go back and read the first one though.
Yeah. I was one of those people who read book one, wasn't that impressed by it. And so everyone told me, oh, you should probably read book two then, because most people prefer book two if they didn't like book one. And I did like book two better, but I don't think I was that impressed in general. And I feel bad for people who adore Tessa Bailey.
I
But
love Tessa
yeah.
Bailey. She's one of my favorite authors, especially for rom-coms. She just like writes such lighthearted, fun rom-coms.
I do
Like,
want
I
to
just
try her
finished
again.
Secretly Yours, and that's one of the best books I read this year. Though I have a lot of best books of the year. I'm gonna have to narrow it down at the end of the year.
Maybe you
Yeah,
could
but I
narrow it
like
down to like trope. Like do it based on trope. Your favorite book that had this trope, your favorite book that
yeah,
had that
maybe, or
trope.
I'll just have like a super long list of all the books I love. But I liked the girl in the second Ice Planet Barbarians books, like Liz, more than Georgie. But I
Georgie.
liked Vectel more than Rahash. So it's kind of
Oh,
like,
I support that. Yeah, I definitely liked Vectal more than I liked Rahash.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I liked Liz because she was like more what I would be like. I'd be like, no, I don't want this. I want to die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like Georgie's kind of like, I love him. Let's do anything,
Like,
and it's just
I'll just accept this. This is
yeah,
my
it's like
fate. She
I
was so
wouldn't just
chill.
accept this new lifestyle. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
really enjoy. I love Nicole Sunday Sprints.
Me too.
So excited that you're joining me. Yes. Brittany, crab emojis. Yes.
Representing the crabs.
Love it when people finish books during sprints. Yes, so nice. And
Me
you get to
too.
share your thoughts with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Ice Blind Barbarians, I support.
We definitely do.
I'm going to read Beach Read by Emily Henry. I hope you like it.
We're both. I'm telling you, Camilla and I have been on the same page for like a while. I feel like I don't know if it was Emily Henry or something else, but maybe just because I got really excited because Camilla was also reading Agatha Christie. So it doesn't matter. I'm just getting really excited every time Camilla picks up a book. I feel like she's calling to me because I also am reading Emily Henry.
Yeah, I want to read more Emily Henry. I've only read Book Lovers and I really enjoyed that one, which is a lot of people's least favorite, I've found out recently.
Yeah, I don't think like Brittany, if she's still in the comments, I think Emily Henry, if that's the romance writer I'm thinking of, I don't think Brittany has really felt that impressed by Emily Henry either. So I think it's always interesting when you figure out what is one person's cup of tea, like their favorite romance writer versus like ones where they're like the hype isn't just doesn't match with me, which is fine.
But I hear a lot of people, their favorite is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So I do want to read that one. All right, Ice Blind Barbarians is so good so far, and they're all in script right now. Nice.
Very nice.
So I think that's the book 3 one that you.
Honestly, I adore him. He is like one of the best. Like we've met other like really great like aliens, but he's definitely like one of my favorites for sure. Blows Vectal and Rahash out of the water. Totally.
Okay, then.
And I will double down on that, Sarah. I will double down on it.
I will have to read that then. I think I'm gonna read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley next, even though it's a physical book. I'm gonna use audio because of writing style. Yeah, took me a little while to get through, but I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it 4.5.
Yeah, it's with those classics, I think it's smart if you can like do it with the audiobook because it is like we don't really use that language as much. The sentence structures feels a bit weird. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But also some classics I can read easily. Like The Picture of Dorian Gray I found was like easily written, at least for me.
Yeah, I think
Compared
it
to
depends on like what they're talking about and also like how literary they're being. Like I feel like that
yeah.
one was pretty conversational as well for like The Picture of Dorian Gray. And maybe that's because Oscar Wilde also was like a playwright, so he kind of knew conversationally. I don't know. It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah. Yes, he's my favorite. Another one that likes I don't know
Yes.
how to pronounce any of their names, but
I love the yeah, I'm so glad everyone agrees.
I love that one. Camilla, my sister and I buddy read it. We both gave it 5 stars.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that's
I'm
good. Now I
gonna have
need
to add
to
it to
read
my
it.
list. Because I'm 85 pages into Happy Place and I'm like already really into it. I'm really invested. So I think I'm gonna just have to go on like an Emily Henry like crazy binge or something.
Yeah, you could film like a reading vlog reading all her books. Along with his brother who is in book 7.
Brittany and I are gonna start on book 7 in July. That we're in July this month. It's finally come. The 22nd of July is our next like IPB reading sprints, 4 hours on her channel first and then 4 hours on mine. And it just was a happy coincidence that it's July the 7th month and we're starting on book 7. But that's yeah. So Tina, we're so close to figuring out what happens in book 7 and probably book 8 too.
It's good to know that they have a range. Yeah.
Totally. Like they're genuinely. And I think that actually is better. I'm glad that there are some that I'm kind of like, nope, this isn't for me. Because that also means that it probably is something for someone else that they're really like they enjoy. So yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many that I feel like it'd be crazy if everyone had the same favorite.
Yeah.
There's so many of them in the series.
Well, sometimes I just got the first book in the Chestnut Spring series in the mail, and I don't know if you've heard of that one by Elsie Silver. It's a
Mhm.
romance, small town, kind of like on a ranch, and it's about like different people. But everyone's favorite is the second book. Like I've never heard anyone who likes a different book as their favorite. So I'm
Interesting.
like, I only have the first one because I want to see if I like it. But everyone says the second one's the best. I've never heard anyone who says another one's the best.
And I guess that tells you that no matter what you think about book 1, you have to read book 2.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, even if I don't like book 1, well,
Book 2 is like everyone's favorite, so I need to know what it's about.
yeah.
Book 2 had me with the Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Totally, yeah. And but speaking of, you had kind of probably similar feelings like with I think Neva. Neva wasn't too into book 2 either compared to like Brittany and me. So like I think to each their own, but we are both definitely feeling the Beauty and the Beast vibe. I mean,
I know.
Liz is like a spitfire as well,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. Like the humor was really funny in that.
Yeah, and I love retellings because like I love when they're like not the common ones. Like Beauty and the Beast has done a lot, but I still haven't read the second book, Scarred, in the Never After series. But I want to get to book 3 so bad because of Wizard of Oz retelling. I've never read one of those.
Yeah.
Like
You know, Brooklyn from Brooklyn Read, she was reading it. And I can't remember if she said that she ended up DNFing it or not. I think she said that she had DNF'd it. Was that in your sprints?
yeah,
Did
that
you say
was
that?
the
Oh
other
yeah.
day.
Oh my gosh, time is like blending together.
I know.
Because I was like, we were just talking about that. Who was there? Oh, all of us. Okay. Yeah, so like her DNFing it and like Neva not liking it. I feel like most people I know say they didn't like it, but isn't it like a favorite for a lot of people?
Yeah, like so many booktubers I watch, like not the people I'm like friends with on here, but like
Mhm.
the more popular ones that I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
they all love it. It's like their favorite book. Didn't Bree from Four Paws in a Book say it was her favorite or give it 5 stars or something?
Oh, I
I
think
think
she
she really liked
did.
it.
Yeah, because she was I think she was really, into the, like, the political system as well
Yeah.
that was going on. So maybe that's which one's book 3? Is that Aladdin or is it
Book 3 is The Wizard of Oz.
and then is book 4 is Aladdin in it?
Then book 4 is Aladdin, and then
Okay.
new one coming out, I forget what it is. Is it? What's book 5? Book
Is it
5 comes out the 1st
Tinkerbell
of
or
August, and I
something?
can't remember the
Or not
exact
Tinkerbell,
date.
but no, that's Peter Pan. Oh my gosh, I can't. I don't know. Um,
Is it like a Hunchback of Notre Dame or like
yes, that's what
okay,
it is. Yeah, yeah, because I
everyone's
don't
so
know.
Belle on
Yeah.
the cover, so that's just what it reminds me of.
Yeah. I know I'm debating. I don't know if I do get back into that series, I think I'm probably gonna skip Scarred. Just because I kind of trust like Brooklyn and Neva, and you're kind of not really into it either. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it and give it a try because a lot of people love it, and I want to read all of them. But like, if I don't like it, I might just keep it anyways and try it later.
Yeah, for sure. Like
Because like
soft,
it's
and
like
that's it.
I want to own all of them in the series. Because if I continue to like the rest of them, I don't want to be missing one that I've already paid for. Like, why would I unhaul it? Like, so that's just my thoughts. But I know when Brooklyn didn't like it, I'm like, oh, well, I not because I know Neva didn't like it, but we have different tastes. Like we like different things. So I'm like that didn't throw me off. But Brooklyn and I usually like the same books. So that one I'm nervous.
Yeah, she also like she did admit that she was kind of going through a reading slump. So maybe it was like bad time too. So who knows?
I'm just hoping it's like decent. I don't want it to I hope it's not bad, but it doesn't have to be like my favorite or anything. Just good enough that I can get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me the first two books were like mid and then in book 3 was amazing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What books are you referencing?
Were we talking about Ice Planet Barbarians basically? Is that what she's thinking? Or were we talking
Yeah, because we were talking
we just
about
referenced so many series. So we were talking about Hooked by Emily McIntyre and Scarred by Emily McIntyre, and then like that series. What is it called? The like Never After. So that series, Dark Romance. We were talking a lot about Emily Henry.
Oh, I think you also referenced as your example like Tessa Bailey's the Bellinger series or something.
Maybe it was Tessa
that
Bailey.
Might be it.
We've talked about so many books.
I know.
Or Ice Planet Barbarians, which we've gone through like up to book 7. We've slightly kind of talked about that. But yeah.
So those are all the books that we've talked about that I can remember. So
oh my gosh, yeah.
One of those. I think they're gonna be good series for listening while I'm at work and stitching. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Like I've personally only listened to all of them. And that's worked perfectly for me. Just because it's usually a time when I'm like, perfect, 8 hours of sprinting, I'm gonna clean my apartment or I'm gonna go for a walk during the sprints while listening. It's just like a good kind of like decompressing series. So yeah. And it's the same audio person, like the same voice narrators. I think both women and men, at least definitely the woman, she's the same one throughout. She just changes like accents and stuff, which is kind of interesting. Yeah.
I liked it Happy One Summer. I didn't like Hook, Line, and Sinker. It's my least favorite Tessa Bailey book. I loved Hook, Line, and Sinker. Yeah, when I read it. I gave it 5 stars, but was it really a 5-star? I think maybe, but it was a low 5-star. But I also read My Killer Vacation, and I gave that 5 stars. But that probably was not a 5-star. It was probably more like 4.5 for me.
I mean, it's just if you're going from vibe, when you finish the book, if you finish on a high, it's like, okay, that's what that rating is going to end up being. Yeah, I will say with Brittany, this kind of makes me feel better because usually Brittany and I are like very much on the same page. Like if she really likes a book, I'm like, I'm going to love it and that kind of thing. And even though she liked It Happened One Summer more than Hook, Line, and Sinker, I wasn't that into either, even though I liked Hook, Line, and Sinker a little bit better. So this gives me hope about trying another Tessa Bailey because it's like, okay, if this is like low tier stuff anyway compared to her canon, like in Brittany's opinion, I'm probably on the right track about trying something else.
Yeah, I've only read 3 of her books, but my favorite's Secretly Yours that I just read. That one's so good. I agree. Secretly Yours is my second favorite. Window Shopping is my favorite. I haven't read that one. I definitely need to. I want to read all of her books.
Okay, I'll keep those 2 in mind because maybe I started at the bottom mentally in my mind and then went up.
For those on my channel, I'm doing a schedule of community time so you know when my sprints are on. Yeah, I saw that she scheduled a bunch of your sprints. So we know when they are, which is exciting.
Yeah, click notify me for every single one.
I was looking at that book today. So true.
Yay.
I've given up on Emily Henry. There's nothing wrong with them. I just end up giving them all 3 stars and finding them okay. I just leave them for those that do enjoy them.
Yeah, I totally respect that. And even Brittany had said in sprints that like she's like, it doesn't make sense for me to keep trying an author that I know is just okay. And then like it's almost as if she's purposely giving the person, knowingly going in that she's going to give a person like low stars, and it's like, why would I do that to an author? That doesn't make sense. So I totally like respect that.
Yeah. I love Frankenstein is brilliant. Yeah, like listening to audio, I would recommend reading along with audio for classics. Yeah. I read the physical and I had to like read things over again with audio, so it's like harder to go back, but like some things I had to read over again because like I can sometimes not understand what people say and like the wording was confusing. So I needed to read things several times. But it was still really good. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite romance retelling. Like 50% of what I used to read was Beauty and the Beast retelling.
I love that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's very popular. Like it's a very common fairy tale to retell in romance.
I don't think I've ever really read one that's like has, you know, been like, oh, this is definitely a retelling of it. So maybe I need to start looking into those because I really enjoyed that one.
I want to read more fairy tale retellings. There's this series by, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name, but they're really cheap on Amazon, at least for me in Canada. They're like $11. It's cheap for a book, but they're all fairy tale retellings and like they're all like interconnected standalones. And there's like Rapunzel and like there's even Hansel and Gretel and there's like Peter Pan and there's like all these different ones. It's like everything, and I don't know if they're good or not, but I really want to buy one and try it because if so, then I know a whole series I need to get. And there's a lot of books in that series.
Especially if it's, you know, if it's a series that you really like and it's cheaper, then it's like win-win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to my Amazon book wish list and see if I can find it.
One that I you know, the what is it, Twisted Tales, which at least in the US it's advertised like in at my library, it's deemed a YA, but I own the one that follows Rapunzel, the what is it called? I can't remember. But what was interesting is I was just watching Amy over at BookTube with Amy, and she was saying that one in the UK, it's actually like marketed as a middle grade, which I found fascinating. And so, and she wasn't really into them, and so I'm like, okay, I've got this one on my shelf. It like why is it marketed differently? Like, why is it marketed as a YA in the US and marketed as a middle grade in the UK? And so now I'm nervous going into that one. But I don't know. Twisted Tales, is that like
Yeah,
marketed?
I've read 6 of those books in that series. That one was really good. I think I gave it 5 stars. My
Is it marketed as
favorite
like a
though,
YA for Canada too?
yes,
Or
YA.
then yeah.
And the Rapunzel one's actually the darkest one I've read. So it's not super dark, but like it's definitely not middle grade. It's more
Yeah.
YA.
Okay,
And
yeah.
but I really liked it. My favorite is the Sleeping Beauty one though that I've read. That one was such a good one.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
author I'm thinking of is Lydia Foxglove. I don't know, but
Very
there's
cool
like
name.
so many. There's like Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, all
Mhm.
those different ones. Beauty and the Beast. There's a bunch of different ones.
I'm intrigued by the Hansel and Gretel one. That's not one you see very often.
I know I have on my book wish list the Rapunzel one and the Hansel and Gretel one because like I don't know, those are the ones that were most interesting to me.
Yeah, totally.
But I read book 2 before I like Beauty and the Beast retellings. I also gave up on Emily McIntyre series. I didn't like Scarred.
Oh no. Yeah,
It's like
I didn't even
all I
start
saw was
Scarred.
good reviews for Scarred, and now that I bought it, everyone's hating it.
Oh no. Yeah, it's like the universe is like, mwahaha, you
Well, I'm
wasted
still gonna
time.
try it, and I have hope because Hooked was so good, at least for me.
There you go.
Thank you. I think it made me explain
Okay.
Barbarians.
Yeah, I know. So many
So
books.
many
I
books.
think it was Ice Planet Barbarians though. Yeah.
Ice Planet Barbarians is so calming. It's just nice to listen to. I used to read it in between dark romance books to give me some comfort.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Especially with like the humor and the kind of
Yeah.
just yeah, I think it totally adds, yeah.
It's just comedy and smut.
Yeah, like it doesn't take itself too seriously,
Yeah.
but like Ruby Dixon does like take the time to make sure that things make sense. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Read by the book. It's contemporary romance fairy tale retelling. Oh, this is the second one in the series by different authors. I have the first one, If the Shoe Fits, by Julie Murphy, which is like a Cinderella retelling.
I feel like does it have like flowers or something on the cover? Like where is it by the book in like maroon font? Is that am
I
I
think it's a
thinking of the
pink
right?
cover, right? Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of. But it's by Jasmine Guillory, I think is her name.
Yes. You know what? And I have read a book by Jasmine Guillory, and I really I liked it. Okay, but oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I'm definitely going to. This looks so cool.
Yeah, I own the
Perfect.
first book in this series, which is Cinderella, and it's like on like a Bachelor show, which I'm interested in. But I didn't like the other book I read by Jasmine Guillory. I think I gave it like 3 or 3.5, so it wasn't bad. I read The
Okay.
Wedding Date,
Well,
and
you know
that one
what?
was just
That's the one that I read, and I want to say that was like one of the it was one of the first ever romances that I read because I was like, I don't really know where I'm going, but I'm going to try this out. And I remember I had fun with it, but there are some things where I was like, I don't really care about their little side quests in regards to
yeah.
like their jobs. Like I was like, oh, this is really nice, but I was like, this isn't what I'm into.
That was an okay read. It just wasn't anything like spectacular.
Yeah, but I also think that was like one of her first that she wrote. So like that's why I'm totally gonna try other ones.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm totally gonna try it.
Yes, with Beauty and the Beast retelling, you can go really have a really sweet one, or you can have a dark one. Yeah.
Totally. Because it's like he could like kidnap her or
Yeah.
yeah, like you can get some dark things while also getting some like, oh, here we are, a rich man who's misunderstood and grumpy. Yeah, so
Yes.
that she was saying
Beauty
yes
and the
to I think the
Beast.
flower, like when I was describing the cover. Yes. I honestly will totally try it. So much better than one day. Okay, I was gonna say,
Okay.
so like I
Well,
feel like
then I might be
Jasmine was just
interested
getting
then
her
because the
stride.
wedding date
hmm
wasn't for me. But we've reached the end of the comments. Should we do another sprint?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, and we'll see everyone in 30 minutes. So, how'd you do?
So I ended up getting about 20 pages through this chapter, and I have like 25 to go. And like, I feel like I'm learning so much, and I'm just trying to remember everything that's happening because this is like a really complex fantasy. And so, like, the political system, the geography, all of these things, on top of kind of like the lore and the history of the place, is like really complicated. And I'm just slowly getting the pieces together. And then I just gained a lot of information that kind of is explaining a few things. So anyway, it's a lot. Oh my gosh, and Danny just joined the comments. Oh my gosh, Danny, I'm halfway through chapter 8, and like I don't know if you've gotten to that part yet. I don't think so because you haven't sent me your thoughts on chapter 7. But we are learning so much. Like I've got so many thoughts. I can't wait to tell her once I finish chapter 8.
I read 19 pages and finished my dinner.
Nice, yum.
I don't know. This book it's getting a little better, but I'm still not loving it. Which I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can't love every book, but I was really hoping to love this one.
Yeah, it's such a cute cover too. It looks like
Yeah,
really sweet and fun, but I feel like for me, with it's a YA contemporary, right?
yeah, or YA romance. It's romance is a big plot of it, but it's also like her life.
Yeah, but I think with contemporary romances, I'm like good with adult ones, but for some reason YA, it has to be done right, and I don't usually gravitate towards those.
Yeah, I
So
like
I don't know.
some YA contemporary romances. Like I like it's called What I Like About You by Marissa Cantor. I don't know, it's really good and she has like a blog about books and like baking, like
Mm-hmm.
cake and stuff. So it was really good. I like that one. And I mean like The Summer I Turned Pretty is more contemporary than but it's contemporary romance.
Mm-hmm.
I only read the first book, but I love that. So I
Yeah,
was
I think
hoping to
I
like
read the
this one
first book
more.
a while ago for that one, but I liked All the Boys. I loved before. I did devour that series, and it was really fun.
But I am hoping this one picks up a bit at
Mhm.
least. Right now, it's probably like a
I'm
solid
gonna
three
ask what
star.
you're reading if you want to, because you're talking about it. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I am reading When You Get the Chance by Emma Lord.
yeah, it looks really fun. Like it's like cotton candy.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it because she wants to be on Broadway, which is so
Mhm.
cool.
Oh yeah,
Because I
that is
mean, I
cool.
never wanted to be on Broadway, but I used to want to be an actress. So
Mm-hmm.
like that part's kind of cool, and I've done performing and stuff, so I know what she likes to do.
You should read Rosewood by the author's last name is Das Gupta. It's like it's at this like kind of actors camp, and it's called Camp Rosewood, and basically it's like loosely based on Sense and Sensibility, and it's kind of like there's like this TV show that's really popular, and it's called Rosewood, and it's like Bridgerton, but like if it were a murder mystery Regency TV show. And so they're like casting for season 2, and so they like invite all these people to this camp, and like the main character is like a huge Shakespeare fan, and so she's like gone to the I don't know. I feel like you might like it because it's really fun.
Yeah, where did we leave off?
Um,
Brittany was going to bed. Good night. You're probably gone, and so is Jin going to bed
yeah,
as
good
well.
night.
Hello, Neva.
Sorry you're at work.
Hi, Danny.
Yes.
Read 5% and definitely was not on TikTok.
No, of course not.
20 pages.
Very nice.
Asking Tina what she's reading. This series has a love triangle, and there is some romantic development on the side of the love triangle. I'm not liking.
No.
It's too
Oh no,
bad.
it's not the worst when you like I mean, I guess you expect that when a love triangle happens, you're going to have a preference, and then when it starts leaning the other way, you're like not going to enjoy it. Yeah, that's the worst.
We're at 13%. That's amazing.
Yahoo!
Saying hello. Reading up a storm.
Mm-hmm.
I answered this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tina. I'm going to look it up. Yes, it does have a cute cover. I love the but the contents aren't nearly as good as the cover.
Is it a do you know if it's like a debut author or is she like published before?
I don't know if this is her debut. I think she's only written like 2 other books. She doesn't have many books out, but I don't know, what year was this published? This came out in 2022, so it's
Oh, so
fairly
like
new. I'm not sure though if this is her debut or not. She's the author that wrote Tweet Cute, if you've heard of that.
oh, what is it called?
Tweet Cute. It's like,
You know, the thing is, I definitely recognized like that, and I feel like I can picture the cover.
yeah,
Because there was a time when there was a bunch of like social media punny romances.
yeah,
Yeah. Like there's another one. It's called like I think it's called like Swipe Right or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So like that it was of that era for sure.
And then like Brittany and I also buddy read The Boyfriend Project, which is also about like online dating thing.
Mm. There's
So
a
there's
another really good one, Lunar Love. It's by what is it? Her name's like Kung Jessen, and I can't remember her first name. She's coming. The second book is coming out, and it's like a romance series, and it's literally about like this like it's kind of enemies to lovers, opposites attract because the one character her family has this really traditional like matchmaking based on the Chinese zodiacs, and then the boy protagonist, the man, he has just created an app that is supposedly based off the Chinese zodiac but really loose, and so they're like at odds with each other. And honestly, it was really good. Like it was really fun. It was really sweet. So if people are looking for like a sweet kind of closed door romance. Like I had a lot of fun. Like the main character was really funny.
the cover is blue, right? Because I think I've seen that.
I don't know. So my I'm gonna do some
Because I
googling.
think Lunar Love sounds
Oh, it is.
familiar.
It's like dark bluish purple.
With a woman
Um,
on the cover, like a
by
cartoon woman,
Lauren
right?
Kung Jessen, and she just I have to look her up because she 100% like on her Instagram just like advertised the new book. Oh, it's called Red String Theory, and it's coming out in 2024 is the second book. Yeah, it's got like cool like Chinese lanterns on the two
Yeah.
covers. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really sweet.
It's just been fun. They've just got back to Dottie crash ship.
Oh no.
Hi.
Hello.
Saying hello. More hellos. I just finished chapter 7. I'm excited to send you my thoughts.
She's probably listening to. I don't know if you're listening to my own voice messages back, but they were really scattered, and I'm so sorry. It's because like I had finished the book, and then we were talking, and then when we got done with the sprint, I was like, "What did I even read?" And so I probably sent Danny really confused, like crazy voice messages. So sorry about that.
Well, now you can talk about it in the next sprint. So
Yeah, exactly.
I've read Tweet Cute is sweet, a very easy, fun, and lighthearted read. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this one was going to be just easy and fun, and it is quite easy to read. Well, aside from the fact that when you're not enjoying it, it's also harder to read a book you're not obsessed with. At least for me. But
yeah, especially when it's like physically reading, it's almost easier when it's an audiobook because it's like, oh, it's just gonna keep going and I can keep doing things. When you like, okay, how many more pages in this chapter? And then it's you're in your head.
yeah. And for me, especially if I'm not obsessed with something, I can't stay focused, which I know is not a very good thing. But don't you hate it when the cover is awesome and the book is bad? I prefer a good book with a bad cover. Yeah.
Honestly, especially because usually when you're like, oh, it's such a nice cover, I want to keep it. But if it's not that good of a book, you're kind of like, do I want to keep it on my shelf? But it's so pretty. I think I did that with. So I ended up reading Emma, and I had one of those really pretty Chiltern, like it's like embossed, flowery, and it's got like the gold edges on the side. Like I remember I got one of those as a gift before I had read it, and then I finally read it. Was it last year? And it was fine. It wasn't my favorite Jane Austen. I'm not really a great person to ask about Jane Austen because I've only read 3 books, but I didn't like it that much. Like it was like a 3-star read for me. So I was like, it's a gorgeous book, but do I need it? Like, do I need to own it? And so I ended up putting it on Pango Books, and someone bought it. I sold it for a very like reasonable, cheap price because I just I'd rather just have someone take it because I don't know.
Yeah.
But hopefully they're adoring it and then they have this gorgeous copy to enjoy. But I was like, that doesn't make sense for me to keep it.
Yeah, because I get rid of all books that I give less than 4 stars. I only keep 4 stars or up. And even with those, sometimes I will get rid of them if they're a 4, but they're like just kind of barely made a 4 and they're not super memorable. And I'm like,
Yeah, not memorable. And you're like, I probably won't ever read this again. And especially if you're like, I probably won't recommend this to anyone. Like, I feel like sometimes that comes into play when you're like, should I keep this book if it's never going to come to my mind ever again?
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't have enough space to keep all these books that are just okay, so I need to get rid of them. And hopefully someone else will enjoy them. And then my used bookstore that I donate them to gives you like store credit. So then I buy new books.
Exactly. It's a cycle.
Yeah. My sister wants to pretty read with you. We'll go get to it eventually. Only since the first one before the timer went off, no worries. I'm sure mine will be scattered as well.
Okay.
Okay, all my schedules are for the craft channel, Patreon, and booktube on the community tabs. I think I need a nap. Lol.
Oh, totally. Especially, I was talking with Nicole earlier today, and she also just hasn't had much sleep lately. Like she had to drive with her husband. I think she was saying to like Brisbane, however you pronounce it. And so like 6-hour trip and everything. So yeah, Nicole, you definitely need to take a nap.
Yeah. Emma's my least favorite Jane Austen, but the 2020 movie was awesome. I loved it.
I 100% want to watch it though, because I've also feel like watching them has enhanced my experience. Like my personal favorite at the moment is Sense and Sensibility. Like I've only read that one, Emma, and Pride and Prejudice. So like not a huge range, but Sense and Sensibility was my favorite. And I think I gave it 4 stars. But then I watched like I think it was like the 2004 or 2008 BBC like series, and it was so good that it just like immediately made me reappreciate the book more. So like I do really want to watch the movie, like the Emma movie. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, Jane Austen's not for me. I tried to read Pride and Prejudice, but oh my god, I thought that was so bad. I'm the only romance reader who doesn't like Jane Austen.
I think I had a bad experience. Well, not a bad experience with Pride and Prejudice. I thought it was like fine, but for me, that was my first Jane Austen, and like I've read it twice in academic settings, which I feel like it like kind of put me off and made me feel really weird. So I'm trying to like maybe in years and years from now, I will read Pride and Prejudice again, like in fresh eyes. But like at least for me, it was academic, and I was just like, I can't do this. The one that I want to try next is Northanger Abbey. I think I would really like that one. If I remember correctly, it's the one where it follows like Tilney is like the last name of one of the main characters. So that's next on my list.
I just didn't like her writing, and I read it for enjoyment, and it was not enjoying. I was not enjoying it. You've been so productive. That's impressive. Yeah.
She really has.
Thanks. I need a nap though. I struggle to get rid of books. I need a whole room for all mine and my daughters. Lol, we could open a library. So could I and my mom. We could open a library. Definitely, I have so many books, and she has quite a few as well.
I talked with Danny about this, but like we both have the dream of like one, like just having like a home library. I really want like a room where I just have this extra room that is dedicated to a library, and it's like, and Danny is the one who first said this, but it's like full of books where you say like someone's like, oh, like what do you recommend? It's like all of them because I read them all and they're amazing. So I like totally agree with Danny, and that's what I want. I just want like a full room dedicated to books I've already read that I love. So I want anyone who walks in is just like surrounded by books I love.
Yeah.
I love that concept.
I want more bookshelves, but like I don't know. There's no room in my room that I'm using as a library, which is our library because it's only really books in there. So it is like a library, and it has all my books I've read and all my TBR books, and I just come in. It's so nice to look at all of them. And I made like this TikTok to this audio like a while ago that it's like, these are 5 books I would recommend, or like, and then you like zoom out and it's just like any one of these, just pick
like
any 5.
All of them. Yeah.
Like,
The first 5 you look at.
my favorite Jane Austen is Northanger Abbey and Persuasion.
See, that's what I want to try those.
It is my favorite Emma adaptation. So So I'm a fan of Jane Austen. I am a Bronte girl all the way.
Oh my gosh, Okay, so I've only ever read Wuthering Heights, but this year one of my like classics that I really, really want to read is Jane Eyre. But I also want to try the I always forget what it's called, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I think it's called, and that one's by Anne Bronte. But I haven't read anything. I want to try like one by every sister, basically.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to read Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights.
Mm-hmm. Wuthering Heights was so good. It was so gothic, but anyone who describes it as a romance, they don't know what they're talking about. It's not. It's like dark. All of the characters are like horrible and in their own way, but you just like want to watch the destruction and everything. So it was great.
I read Jane Austen. I'm interested in Northanger Abbey. Isn't that the one that she wrote first, but it was published after her death, or maybe later in her life?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like I know that like one thing that I can say about Persuasion is that it's like it's one that there's a lot of contention because people say like when you're younger and you read it, they say that a lot of people don't tend to like that one. But like a friend of mine, she said that she read it like 10 years later or something, like kind of when she got into her 30s, and she was like, I said like now with every year I have so much more appreciation for Persuasion. So I feel like that one in my mind might have been later as well. I wonder, let me see, Jane Austen book order. We're just gonna go through this. So it looks like the order Jane Austen wrote her novels. Okay, here we go. Sense and Sensibility was first, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, then Northanger Abbey, and then Persuasion. So yeah, I think it's Persuasion's the one that was like really late. And isn't there one that like was partially unfinished or something? I think it's funny that Nicole's favorites were her like two last ones though. That's really interesting.
Yes, life goals.
Yes.
It's a very interesting idea, yeah, to read all the sisters. Heathcliff.
Yeah, he's in Wuthering Heights.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't know who that is, but Brontes are not romances for me. Very honestly,
like
yeah.
Knights of Arc. I think the movie adaptation might have been advertised as a romance, but like I've never seen it, so that's why I think it gets confusing. Yeah,
I like classics, like all different genres of classics, but the only one on my TBR that I have no idea why I bought it is Moby Dick. How could you have that much to say about a whale that it took 800 pages?
Yeah. There used to be like a commercial when people were first like when they were first advertising like audiobooks. It was probably Audible or something. And it was like the guy was like got about to go for a run and he like puts the earbud on and it says, "Call me Ishmael," which I'm pretty sure is like the first line of Moby Dick, if I remember correctly. And then like that's the only thing I know. And I was like, I have no interest in reading that, to be
Yeah, I'm
honest.
like, it sounds good, but like, I don't know. I couldn't. How do you hate a whale that much that you write that big of a book?
Yeah. And the thing is it also like caused so much. I mean, there's already a lot of like lore about like whales, like killer whales and everything. Like, but it's kind of like the same thing with Jaws, where it caused this really negative reaction towards like the animal. And so like kind of like went on like mass killing sprees, and now like most whale species are protected, and that's because we also are like destroying our oceans and everything. We're not going to get into that, but my whole point is like these books that like feature these animals as these beasts or these monsters, oh, if they get famous, they always end up like causing so much devastation to that population.
Yeah, but it's like people have to understand it's not the animal; it's a fictional character. Like in
Exactly.
Jaws, there's no shark that is that big.
Yeah, like they
The
literally
biggest shark
say
is
that
like
it doesn't make
21 feet,
yeah.
and then that one's like 25. It's like that's no, it can't. There's no shark that big,
Mm-hmm.
and no shark holds a personal grudge like that just for that family.
Yeah. They were
God no.
saying more people in the UK die being killed by a cow than in the entire world get killed by a shark per year. That I literally saw that statistic. And so it's just like cows are more dangerous than
Yeah, and I think
sharks.
whales actually kill more people than sharks as well, or at least.
Yeah, and I
There's
feel like a
more
lot of
types
people
of
like
whales that have killed humans than types of shark. Like only very
mhm.
few sharks have killed types of sharks have killed humans.
Yeah, so just craziness. Mhm.
The Tenant of Woodfield Hall by Anne Bronte is amazing. It's my favorite. Then Jane Eyre.
See, I really want to read that.
And Nina's not a fan of Jane Eyre, so
Interesting. Different opinions. We'll see which place I sit on.
in Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert, the characters go into his love interest apartment for the first time he walks in, and there's just shelves and shelves of books. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Like as like a first impression on like an
Yeah.
apartment or something. It's just like books.
Like I've always loved in Beauty and the Beast, like just the library when she walks in. Even when I first watched it when I was like 4 years old, I've always loved books.
Yeah, or
And
like the ladder, like that classic like ladder
yeah,
that goes up.
I've always wanted my own library with like that many books and just
Mhm.
I
Love
could
it.
never afford a house with that much to
Yeah,
store
and
that
also just
many
like
books.
dusting. Like you'd have to
Oh
constantly
no,
be on top
I
of
need a
dusting.
maid for sure. And his goal was to have all the books. He had all different genres, and he just liked having tons of books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
This season, I think it is called That Was Not Finished.
It's like the unfinished work by Jane Austen. Okay.
With the wife in the attic, I don't know. Okay.
Is that maybe that's Jane Eyre? I don't know.
I don't
Anne
know.
Bronte.
And
Or
Bronte
I
died
know
so young.
that
She was only 29.
yeah, that's crazy. I know that Tenant of Woodfield Hall also has to do with like motherhood, so I don't know if that has to do with thing. I don't know. Anyway.
I think about that all the time because I have never
Mm.
on Hall, and I used to kind of think I should just keep all the books. I want to just have books I love. Yeah, I only keep the books I love or
Yeah.
really like.
There was a time when I was keeping books that I like hated so that I could remember I hated them. And I was like, Leandra, this is unhealthy. like you don't need a reminder that you hated this book.
Yeah,
Like just give it
if I
away. And I
truly hate a book, I'm gonna remember that I hate it. I don't need a
yeah.
reminder of myself.
You're probably gonna remember why you hate a book more often than you remember why you love a book, just because
Yeah,
it hits a different spot.
and now that kids are taking their revenge.
Orca, honestly, I'm on the side of the orcas.
Class once because I couldn't read Moby Dick for the book report. I could not. Yeah,
Ugh, yeah, isn't
that's
it like horrible? I remember once in a while when I was taking an English class, they'd like let you choose across books, and then you could kind of choose which one based on preference rather than forcing you. Obviously that means like there's gonna be classics that you miss, but no matter what, when we
yeah.
leave school, we're gonna have like so many classics we've missed. So whatever.
But like in my years of doing high school book stuff for English,
Mhm.
I haven't had to read classics. We have
Mm.
short stories and like poems that are like very well known, but for the books, we got to pick between several books for grade 10 and they were all just like random genres and I read Ender's Game. I
Interesting.
loved it, gave it 5 stars, so I had to go out and buy my own copy because I loved it so much.
Mhm.
And then this past year in grade 11, we had to choose between like indigenous books, Canadian indigenous books, because
Mhm.
that's the class everyone must take it now in Canada in BC. So I read Hunting by Stars, and it was okay. It was actually good.
Mhm.
But I've never had to read like any of Jane Austen or like any of those for English.
Yeah, Jane Austen, I ended up reading in undergrad twice for different classes, which is so stupid. Um, but I ended up reading, I'm trying to think. My senior year was really weird where I was taking like it was called IB English at the time. And it was just really random stuff. Like it was definitely like they're not even called classics. It was just really odd. But they were like international, so that was interesting. And I remember in sophomore year, we did this one that I thought about a lot, but I can't remember what the name of it was. But it was like this futuristic, very modern YA book that we all were obsessed with. But it's kind of like sometimes you got to lean into what your students are into. Like, yeah, read some classics, but I don't see the harm in also having them read modern stuff because I
Yeah.
think that we like it more because we can relate to it. It's hard to relate to someone in the Regency era or the Victorian era when we don't understand what life is like.
Yeah, and
So,
especially like in high school because like you haven't chosen it.
yeah, you feel like you're required. And like by being required, you're kind of like, I'm meant to hate this.
Yeah, and you're like, because like when you choose to go to university for like English, like they assume that you like that class. But like in
Mhm.
high school, a lot of kids just would rather be anywhere else but school, and then they make them read something that they don't even bother reading because like whereas you could have given them something that they might even actually try and read.
Yeah.
I wish the manga classics existed when I was in high school. Those classics I just couldn't get through. At least there were Spark Notes.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, Spark Notes, Cliff Notes were very helpful. Both of those sites for me. But yeah, I want to try out those manga classics. I feel like they'd be really interesting to look at, especially now that I'm only like scraping the surface of mangas this past month. So
Yes, Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre had a crazy wife in
crazy
the
wave in the hour. Okay, yeah, Nina was not about that.
My friends will give me crap because I will read books from the library, and then after I know I like it, go buy it. I just get mad when I spend money on a book I hate.
Like we must have talked about this before, but yeah, Danny, that's literally what I have done this past like year. I've changed my buying habits. I still buy books that are like audiobooks sometimes where I'm just like, oh, of course I'm gonna love this. So hopefully those don't end up being wrong. But like I most of the books I've bought this year were library books that I either listened to on Libby, read from the library, loved, and then I'm like I buy them. So I the same thing. Actually, so back when I did, like, I was celebrating that I graduated graduate school, I went to a bookstore and I was like, Leandra, you've got $50. Just buy books that you think look good. And for an hour, I walked around with 2 books that I had already read at the library and loved. And it took so much for me to like break that habit of actually buying a book that I hadn't read yet. Like I had all this anxiety, but I did end up buying a couple books that I hadn't read before.
I think I was always a mood reader. Could never make myself read something I didn't feel like. Also, I've been always been a romance reader. Yeah, I've like scheduled things, but I do like to be a mood reader as well. And I've always loved romance. I've always loved love, even when I was very little.
Love, love.
I started reading all the, like fantasy romance or like romance, like YA stuff. Even those like, like those middle grades that they call romance because at the end they might kiss or something.
Oh, yeah.
I read those when I was like 7 years old. I was reading.
Mhm.
And then the older I got, I read all the YA romance books. Yeah. I've always
That
loved
is so funny.
romance as well. I read Harry Potter instead for another class. They were making us read some boring book and I was not having it.
And you're like, "Nope." That's when you, like, you have the one book you're supposed to read, but then behind
Yeah, and
it,
then
you
the
have,
other
like,
one
a fun book.
inside. My sister bought me a book for my birthday. She was very upset to find out that I already read it.
No.
No.
Yeah, my friends and family have learned very early on that they just need me to give them a list of books
Yeah, I
that
always have a list for my birthday and Christmas. Just stick to the list.
yeah, and I'm like, "Listen, I'm giving you more titles than you need. That way it also still is a surprise for me." Like, I was
Yeah.
like, "Legit, I promise it's actually better this way."
Because I'm like,
So
I'm putting more books on here than I know I'm getting. So you have options. And like, if you can't find some or some out of stock, or you go to the store and they're not there that day, like, there's other ones.
exactly.
So
Like,
yeah,
I'm helping you.
that happened to me
Oh,
too.
no. Yeah,
Mm.
that's the trials of being a big book reader.
I mean, if you've read it like from the library or something, but you really enjoyed it, I mean, that's
Oh,
not
yeah, then
bad.
that could be fine. I
Like,
guess it just
there's
depends on
some
what kind
books.
of owner you are. Like, if you want to own the books that you've
Yeah, because like
yeah.
there's some books I read from the library that I've given like 5 stars and absolutely loved. But since I've read them, I just haven't bought them. Like if
Yeah.
someone
Mhm.
gifted it to me, I'd be like, that's great and keep it. When I'm buying books, I try to buy at least half books I've read, or only buying books I really want to read or really want to collect. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, like, whatever works for, like, everyone, whatever works for you in regards to how you buy and consume books.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, whatever
When
makes
I
you
buy
happy.
When I buy new books, I read all the synopsis of all the books I'm interested in over and over again till I pick the one I want to buy. But when I go to the thrift stores, I just this sounds interesting, and I need and buy everything, and I need to stop doing that
Well,
just
also,
because
it
it's
totally
cheaper.
does depend on price. Like you said, thrift stores, if it's like a dollar or two, you're coming home with me. But, like if it's like a brand new book, it's very much a like, read it from the library, maybe wait until the paperback comes out and then buy that or whatever it is.
I know, but like paperbacks are still like $23 to $28.
I know. So there's the one series, if Nicole is still here, I was talking about it in my blog. It's like Viviana Valentine Gets Her Man, that A Girl Friday series. And the physical books, like especially like whether it's a paperback or hardcover, are even like super expensive here in the US, and it's published in the US. It's like $25. And for Nicole in Australia, she's like, it would cost me $40 to buy that book. And I'm just like, that's so frustrating. These books are so expensive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cause like there's a lot of books that like well, Amazon has all the indie books that like Indigo in Canada doesn't have.
Mhm.
So I buy those, but like even books that Indigo has, I want to buy them there because I don't want to support Amazon.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna support Amazon for the rest of my life because their things are cheaper.
Yeah, and like that's their entire ploy is
Yeah,
they purposely sell books to like lose a profit because they're on like the long game. They're like, we're gonna
yeah,
outlast these other bookstores, and it's like it's not the consumer's fault. Like it's a privilege to be able to not buy from Amazon. So if you can, we definitely encourage it. But if you can't, or if for whatever reason, depending on where you live, there's no other way to get access to books, we definitely like can't judge you for that. You know what I mean? Like if I don't think it's
yeah.
fair
Like
seeing
I
people feel
have other
bad.
ways, like some of them I could get from chapters in Indigo, but I
Mhm.
don't know. As someone who has very little money and like
Yeah. Mhm.
I want the cheaper ones and like like my mom's like you should be buying clothes instead because like we can't afford to just but I spend all my money on books anyways. But yeah,
Yeah.
I need the cheapest things. That's why I go wherever it's cheaper and buy that one. If I had tons of money, I'd support all these like small businesses and stuff.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where like once you work your way up to it, maybe like have your own income and be able to like balance everything out, then it's like, yeah, go ahead and like support your local indies or even like larger chains because we need them to continue to exist if we want the
Yeah.
print industry to last. But like, like we can't judge someone who literally can't afford to like buy a $25 book every time they buy a book. It's
I know
crazy.
because like when I bought like Scarred, it's like $27 at Chapters, but it was
Mm,
only 22 on Amazon.
yeah.
Like, well, that's a
Mhm.
good saving.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, for sure. So, but also there's always the library too for those
yeah,
who like are trying to avoid Amazon if they like,
yeah,
but then it's like that I don't know, just create it's really tough. We're doing what we can, but we're
yeah.
definitely yeah.
But my library has like no romance books, either of my two
Yeah.
libraries. They have very little romance and I read mostly romance.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm trying to only buy brand new books that are romance and like all my like other genres I'm trying to get from the library or like thrifting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Cause like very little times do I go to the thrift store and find like good romance popular books.
Yeah.
And I have done that. Like I have gotten like an L. Kennedy book from Value Village before. So
Mhm. Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always nice to get those little gems.
I know at the thrift store you go every single book twice to make sure you haven't missed anything. And then you have to go back every week, like for when they restock.
Mhm.
No, I just sent everyone my Amazon wish list for my birthday and Christmas. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it just makes everything so much easier. And like they've got the feature where it can still stay a surprise. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't notify you if someone buys something, which is like also very nice.
Yeah. And not just buying random books because they're cheap. Yeah, I need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I only buy books I'm interested in, but like I'm not interested in them enough. So like when I buy them, look at them and I'm like, that sounds good, but I'm never in the mood to read it. So just
Yeah. I have this bag of just golden age detective fiction that I like tend to just randomly buy if it's published before 1950 and it's a mystery, I usually just buy it when if it's like a dollar or two and I just have this whole sack of them. I don't even know what titles are in there, but I'm just like, oh, I'll get to them. So
if I could get a book for $1, that would be the best day ever, no matter what.
seriously, yeah, I'm like, I'm taking you. I'm taking you.
I know,
Yeah.
I'd go crazy if books were that cheap here because like even thrift store books are like $6 to $8.
Yeah. And
So like
the ones I found are like usually it's Pango because people are just trying to sell them. Like this one woman, I
yeah.
literally spent like $12 and got like 10 books from her. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited. You have so much detective fiction. And she's like, I have more. And I'm like, okay, I'll be
Yeah, I
back.
wish we could use Pango in Canada. It sucks that it's only for
Yeah.
use.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise I would sell some of my books and like buy new ones. But
Seriously.
the best place to go for used books, at least where from around where I am, is
Mm-hmm.
Salvation Army because their books are like $2 for paperback and like $4 for hardcover, and those are like the cheapest you're ever gonna find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A friend of mine went to Goodwill. I was with her and she found like the entire box set of like basically the box set of like what is it, Akatar? And like each book, literally it's gorgeous, like finished condition, like nothing completely damaged, was $1 each at Goodwill.
That's
She's like
crazy.
taking those and she's like, and if I don't like them, well, I didn't really spend that much money on them and I could probably resell them, and make money off of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
there's a business in this if I actually had time.
I know sometimes I wish I could sell books, but I don't know where to sell them because like everyone's like use Pango, but like in Canada we can't.
And you can't.
Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I find like such good finds at the thrift store that I'm just like I'm not interested or like books I already own.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but this could sell for at least $15. And
Yeah.
then but I don't know where to sell anything. So if anyone knows where to sell things online in Canada, like I guess Facebook Marketplace, but like I'm not on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
Yeah, might have to ask Brittany. I know she's in Canada.
Yeah, I think books have gone up since they closed Book Depository. Yeah,
Totally.
hardcover super expensive in other countries. My sister lives in South America, and it's horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah.
bad.
So frustrating.
And Book Depository was awesome for my sister. I used to send her books through them.
Yeah. I did get all of like if I liked a certain UK cover, I would go through Book Depository.
Yeah. I mean, now there's still Blackwell's that ships free internationally, but all their books are like regular price.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually a good point. If anyone's interested, Blackwell's is like a great resource and it like internationally it doesn't like
Yeah.
cost
So if
any
you
more.
still want the UK covers, and it has free shipping worldwide. So
That is a great point.
recently I found a half price bookstore around my house, and thus my physical TBR has grown slightly. I think I'm currently at 12 books. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it still bothers me.
Yeah,
You
well, it is a lot for you,
know,
especially because the last time I think I checked in, you only had like 6 books. So it has doubled for you. I can imagine.
that number is just for me. That's like so small. I'm like 12 books. I have like
Yeah.
107.
Yeah, I would say honestly, that's kind of that like Danny, I mean this in like all the best way. You are the dream for me. Like
Yeah, I would love
I
to
would be
have
so
that.
proud if that I actually so cool.
Maybe I'd want a little bit more because I like having variety for what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah. I feel
Because
like
I
if I
read
got
all
to that
sorts of
level,
genres. So it's
suddenly the floodgates. Like I'd be like, I'm
yeah,
so proud of myself. And then the next month I'd have like 50 more books. And I'd be like, what did I just do?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm trying not to buy any more books until I get under 100 on my TBR, and it's like
Yes,
so
you said
hard.
that. You can do it. I believe in you.
And then I want to once I get under 100, I'm probably gonna not stay under 100 for very long. I want to go to like you because like there's used bookstores I haven't been to because it's a little bit of a
Mhm.
drive away.
Yeah.
Like so, I plan to go like to all like the thrift stores and used bookstores, see what I can find. I buy nearly all my books online, but I found a guy at our local markets that has books for $2 each, and I'm getting a lot of my books secondhand now. Well, that's good. $2 is a
Yes.
very good deal.
I've heard about this guy. He's like this no bad guy driving around. It's
I
amazing.
don't have a bookstore in my town, and the library is geared to older generation or kids, and they have
Mhm.
very few new releases, but I can get some from Borrow Books.
Oh, nice.
Did you guys know that you can request that your library purchase books that you're interested in are not in their catalog? That's fantastic.
Yes, Danny. Thank you for representing. That's so true. I work at a library and like we take people's requests all the time. We've got like a suggestion box, so maybe check to see if your
Okay,
library has
why
one.
don't you take donations?
What'd you say?
Why don't you take donations at the library? Like,
Oh my gosh, I know. See, we like take certain donations, but it's such a clear like it's like there's such a heavy clearance. Like actually, so I was telling Nicole today that this woman who apparently like in her 80s, I wasn't at work, but she like brought in all of her like her entire collection of Bantam edition like Agatha Christie, but we have like so many specific regulations for like when and how we like bring books in. So I'm actually just gonna get them the next time I go to work because my director let me know. But it's like a lot of times we have like free shelves. Also, libraries have free shelves. Like usually, like all the libraries in my library system have free shelves where we've just like taken books out of circulation. And there, you can also like go on YouTube and see how people like take off all of the like library stuff. So it just looks like a nice hardback. So like there are ways to kind of get access to
Yeah,
books.
because I hate when they have some books in a series, but not all of them. Because once when we found out that we couldn't donate books, my mom was reading a series and they had like books 1, 2, 4, and 5. So she had to purchase book 3. She's like, I want to donate this so the other people can read the whole series, but they're like, no, we don't accept that.
That's so weird. I wonder if it's just your library because like that would be like the perfect example of a book we would take because it
Because
would be
then,
like
like everybody else that reads that series has to go buy that book as well. When my mom was willing to give it, like,
yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. We do not. I do not take representation from that library. I am not affiliated with that one.
anyway, 12 TVR books. That's amazing. Yes, it really is.
Genuinely.
I would have a mental breakdown if I had that many unread books. I would feel like they were staring at me. They are
Oh,
staring at me. They're judging
100%. No,
me.
they do. Like there are some times when I'm looking at my books, I'm like, oh, I love you so much. And then there are times when I look over and I'm like, they all hate me. They're
I
all
know. I
waiting for
look
me
at
to
the
fall
books I've
asleep.
read, and they're all like, "We love you. Thank you for reading us and keeping us." Look at my unread books. They're just like, "Why haven't you read me yet?"
Yeah, there's like a sound on TikTok way back in the day when it was like, "Does she see us? Do you see me? I see you." Do you remember? I don't know if you remember that. It was like a TikTok, and people would do it with like their dishes or their laundry. But then people also would do it with their bookshelves when like someone would be like walking in with like books they just bought, and it'd be like,
Yeah,
"Do you see me? I see you. She doesn't see us. What's going on?" And
exactly.
I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's me."
I probably have around that many I actually want to read, but I'm probably about 200 on unread.
Yeah,
I have a lot.
I have a lot. I'm don't know the number and I'm afraid to find out the number. We're going to move on. At some point I might count them all, but it's been a while and I don't want to do it.
I have around the same, Tina. Maybe more if I include Kindle and audio. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Thanks. I try. Yeah.
Yes,
That must
Danny,
take
you
a
are an
lot of reading to get through your books because I definitely buy them way faster than I can read them. It's so irritating. Why not offer the entire series, especially with a donation? The Barnes and Noble around me does that with the series. Yeah. Who's buying that? Yeah. I
exactly.
know it
Like it
was
doesn't make
stupid.
sense.
We're like, just take it. They're like, no.
Yeah. Like
Take it, please.
please. Like it's like you're begging them.
I know we're like, take the book. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they just wouldn't take it. So that was really
Yeah, that's really
frustrating.
weird.
Probably frustrating for anyone else who tried to read that series as well.
Mhm.
We're not even going to talk about my want to read books. Yeah. I want to read
Yeah,
every
I'm
book out there.
overwhelmed by that. The number of like clicks where I just click want to read on Goodreads or something, and I'm like, there are so many books I want to read, and
Yeah, like
that's just all I
every
have to sit
time I
with.
watch a booktube video, I like add at least one book to my Amazon book wish list. Like,
Ugh.
yeah,
Oh, Danny has a good idea.
sneak into the library, just leave it on their shelves.
Yes, and like leave a little. You could, and then you could like leave a little note on on like the inside flap, being like, "Please return this for the next person," and then just basically create your own borrow system.
Yeah, like those people who create their own little free library. That'd be so cool. But like,
Oh
I live in a
yeah.
townhouse, so obviously you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like the people I've seen who live in other parts, like especially in the States, they have one outside people's houses, but like, and a lot of people I watch are like, it's so weird to go up to somebody's little free library outside their house while they're home.
Yeah, because it's literally on their property, so it feels
Yeah,
weird to
but
like
it'd
stand
make me
on their
feel so good
grass.
if I saw someone using my little free library. That would make me feel so good.
I think I like the next time I get like a nice stack of books that like maybe I don't want to sell, but I don't want to own. Like I have that goal of going to my like the closest little free library so I can at least like give a book every time in case I take one. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm going to the pool tomorrow, and there's a little free library outside of the pool, like
Mm-hmm.
out front. So I'm thinking of taking maybe like 2 or 3 books and just dropping them off before we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I added to my shelf, and Leandra made me do it.
Yeah. So it ended up being Bluettes by Maggie Nelson.
Yeah, I saw on her Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really excited. I hope, Nicole, that we can talk about it because there was some really interesting aspects, but I'm not going to get into it. But yeah,
It's like a little free library just run out of the actual library. They would never know. Yeah.
exactly. I love it.
So should we do another sprint?
Yes, that was a really long talking session, but I
Yes,
had
it
a lot of
was.
fun.
That was very long. Okay, so I will see everyone in 30 minutes. So I think that was going to be our last sprint for tonight. We've been here for 3 hours almost, so pretty average time. Make sure to check out Leandra's channel for more sprints next week, and I might be doing some more as well. How did you do the sprint?
Yeah, so I ended up kind of getting distracted because I was talking with Danny, but I ended up getting like another maybe 13 pages in, and I have like 10, 15 left in the chapter then, or 10 left in the chapter. But just there's so much happening. I want to remember every single thing I want to talk to Danny about because it's crazy. The chapters are quite this particular chapter is quite long. And so I think there's just a lot happening, but it's also like a super kind of epic fantasy. So that makes sense. I hope Danny's enjoying it because I'm actually having a lot of fun. How about you? How did you do?
I read 18 pages and I'm still not liking it that much.
No.
I think I'm going to try and read to I'm on page 68, so I might try and get to 100 before I decide to DNF.
Yeah.
Or
How
I
many
might
pages are in the book total?
Just over 300.
Okay, so your goal is to get to about a third. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping that it gets better. Because right now I think they're gonna probably play opposite parts in the opposite roles in the play. So they're gonna have to work with each other and they're kind of like rivals because they get. So I'm hoping that the romance picks up, but if it doesn't, I'm gonna probably DNF it.
I think giving it to 100 pages is
It's like that's a third of the book. I
time.
gave it a very good amount of time.
Yeah.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Watched YouTube and had dinner. You're welcome and good night.
Good night.
Thanks for the sprint. Hope you had a good night. Yes, thank you. You too. I'm gonna have to flip through the chapter before I send more thoughts on having a ton of fun. That's good.
Yeah, I've been tearing the piece of paper that I've been using as my bookmark so that I can go back to pages that I want to talk to her about because I'm like I don't want to forget anything. But yeah. But yeah, thanks for hosting these and thanks for letting me join you too. This has been really fun.
Yes, of course. Anyone is welcome to join me on sprints whenever I do them, or if anyone ever does sprints and I'm free to join, I'd love to. Saying good night to everyone. I'll have to have some lunch and film my book haul. So weird with time zones, some people are going to bed, some people are having lunch.
Yep.
It's good that we have time zones, but it's it'd be so much easier to do things with people around the world if we all had one time zone.
Yeah, the world's too big. It's just too big.
I know, because it's hard to get a time when it works for people in Australia.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think about doing daytime sprints. So people in Europe could kind of participate because when we do our evening, all of Europe's asleep. It's 100%.
Yeah. I know. It's so you can't get everybody at one time, which sucks. You're welcome. Sprints was a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm glad everyone had fun. It was nice to talk to everyone and get some reading done, even if it wasn't this book that isn't all that great.
I know. I'm so sorry that you're not having the best time, but maybe next time.
Yeah. The next book, I want to make sure I pick a book I know is going to be good for the next one. Well, I thought I knew this one was going to be good, but
oh well.
I'm probably going to try and pick another romance because that's what I'm in the mood for. So
yes, and that sounds perfect for Beachathon as well. Just romance stuff.
So, I'm planning on doing some UK time sprints in the future. That's good to get all those people on. Because I feel a lot of people do evening sprints for North America time, and it doesn't really allow the UK people and Europe to join.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for joining us and reading or whatever you did during these sprints. And we will see you for sure on Leandra's channel next Tuesday. And if not before that. So bye everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.